Today I want to do a quick review of a pocket notebook that I tried out and didn't get very far with, as you will see in a few minutes. And I apologize, I just realized my hands turned kind of blue because my jeans are really dark, so if my hands look kind of goofy, that's why. I'm not like a zombie or anything. Okay. So as you can see, this is a Doane paper notebook. Doane paper is kind of known for their distinctive grid plus line style. And let me flip this guy open. This is that grid plus line style. So you can see there's a really small grid here, and then there's basically 3 squares in between darker lines. And they say, let's see. Okay, so on here the grid size is 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch. And this is a 3.5 by 5.5 notebook, so standard field notes kind of size. And then this spacing is legal spacing, which I guess is 3/8 of an inch, given that there's 3 squares in between it. It's a staple bound book. As you can see, it's got 3 staples in the spine. It's kind of like the classic field notes format. So it's 48 pages, which means that there are 12 sheets basically on each half. So 24 sheets total, 2 pages per sheet, so 48 pages. It's got a black cover. I guess it's recycled. It says that on their website. It's recycled content makes up the cover. And it also says that the paper inside is recycled paper as well, which I think is really cool. I'm kind of a hippie at heart, so I'm all about saving the planet and all that. So I'm all for recycled paper. So let's talk about how this paper performs. So I, did a page of writing. I tried to make sure that I had a good mix of different things, different inks, different nib grades. I don't use pencils, or otherwise I would have tried it with pencil, but to me pencil works pretty well on pretty much anything, so I'm sure pencil would work just fine here. So I had a couple of Pilot juices in different colors, a couple of fountain pen inks in a variety of nib sizes, but mostly on the finer side of things, since that's what tends to work best in these kinds of pocket notebooks. A G2. I was trying to find my black Pilot G2 and I couldn't, so purple will have to do. And then I made a couple highlighter streaks just to see how it highlighted. So if we flip over to the back of the page, so the 2 Pilot Juice, those were up here. Those did great. No show through or bleed through or anything. Same with the G2 down here. That did fine. This was Lilliput with a J-Urban ink in it. You can see that was definitely bleeding through. Let's see. And then all the rest of these did bleed through to some extent. Probably the one that performed the best of the fountain pens was this guy. And that is a diluted version of Noodler's Air Corps Blue Black. And the highlighters, I was actually surprised. Some highlighters bleed through like crazy, and these are not great highlighters that I used. And they actually did pretty well. Just a little bit of bleed through at the very ends where you kind of hesitate before you lift up the marker. So overall, I would say that this, I mean, it's not the best performing paper I've ever seen in a pocket notebook, but it's certainly not the worst. I would say it's at least on par with the field notes, and better than some field notes editions that I've seen. Part of it, I think, is that a lot of times recycled paper doesn't tend to handle fountain pens well. And I don't know if that's just because it doesn't, I don't think it's the paper itself, because I think the recycled fiber certainly can be fountain pen friendly. I think it's that the paper doesn't necessarily receive as much kind of processing and finishing as more premium papers do. I don't know, that's my guess. But I have found that recycled papers tend to not take fountain pens quite as well. Again, this being a pocket notebook though, I know a lot of people just tend to assume that it's not going to be great for fountain pens, so either you deal with the bleed through or you use gel pens or whatever. I tend to use gel pens in my pocket notebooks anyway, so for me it's not a big deal. Okay, so for me that's not the deal breaker. For me, the reason that I only got 2 pages in, I got a page in and then another page in, and then that's it. The reason I only got 2 pages in is actually because of this grid plus lines format. I can't do it. And I suppose I can, okay. This was a day that I do bullet journaling kind of like on a daily basis. And so I started a bullet journal entry in here. And you can see, so these lines are much wider than my writing. So I can't write just like one line per thick line. And then the little grid lines, the 1/8 of an inch grid lines, are too small for my writing. So I wind up basically needing 2 of the small grid lines, but then I don't like it when, like here, one of the thick lines goes through what I've written. So for me, this grid+lines doesn't work. I could definitely see how it would work if maybe you were using this for like sketching things that needed to be, to scale. Oh, hi cat. Hello, hi. No, don't knock my stand. No rubbing your face on there. Sorry, my cat has decided to be friendly, and every time he rubs his face on here, it makes a bunch of noise. So anyway, I could see how this format could be really helpful, and I may wind up using this notebook still to do like knitting patterns. Like it would be great for like doing knitting patterns that maybe are pretty wide in terms of how many stitches I need. Oh, come on, focus. Focus. Oh, we've decided not to focus anymore. There we go. It'd be great for like a lace pattern or something for knitting that is too wide to otherwise fit in a small notebook like this, because you do fit a lot of squares across. So that would be pretty cool, and that's what I might use this for. But in terms of kind of like everyday use, for me, this grid+lines format is not practical at all. And I'd say that if you're like me and you don't want thick lines going through your writing, and if your writing is more than, 1/8 of an inch tall and less than 3/8 of an inch tall, like if you fall somewhere in the middle, you'll probably be unhappy with this. It's a good product. I like the feel of the paper. I like the feel of the notebook. I like kind of the minimalist look to it. And, if I liked it, I would have probably gone for some of the ones that have the different colored covers, because I kind of really like the way those look and everything. But for me, it just doesn't work, and that's just how it goes sometimes. And unfortunately, you don't know until you try it. So having tried it, I don't think I would use it again, at least not for kind of an everyday pocket notebook. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. You might feel differently about it, but yeah, it's just not going to work out for me. I'd like to thank my friend Paul for sending me this to try out, and I'm going to link to his blog down below in the description, because his blog is mostly ink reviews and it is awesome. So I think everyone should go check that out. And yeah, that's all I got for today, and I will see you guys later.